Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the September 26th, 2020 edition Pro Wrestling Throwdown. I'm Caleb Black. It's Luke the Big Dog Williams. Mighty Max Fury. And it's time to open up the mailbag. Every week we request you guys send us in emails and request some questions. We actually got a couple this week. I'm going to start off right here with a question from Amanda. Which wrestler has won the most matches? Now, we use the wrestling database.
Internet wrestling
database that compiles the list of wins, losses, draws, whatever, from pretty much every promotion any wrestlers come up with. And we didn't really go through, we obviously couldn't go through every single one, but we did come to the conclusion that on paper, John Cena has the most wrestling wins with 1,053 matches. I'm sorry, 1,731 total matches, and of those, winning 1,053, so his win-loss ratio
is insane.
Is ridiculous.
But, Super Cena was selling T-shirts and merchandise.
And merchandise out the window. So
he's still selling merchandise.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda, for your question. John Cena, super wrestling man, as we were. Another question we got, who is the WWE's next big star? That's from Dan. Thanks, Dan. Obviously, I think we'd be remiss to not say Dominic Mysterio. I think he's going to be a huge star. Adam Cole is up there.
Adam Cole would be my pick.
Karrion Kross, when he returns, is going to be major.
Excellent. Any idea?
I don't know, but Kane's going to stay the tag team champion.
He will stay the
tag team champion.
Adam Cole. I believe Adam Cole has a lot more to offer than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, agreed. And I think he's still just young enough. He just now turned 30, 31. He's young. He's in shape. He's got charisma out the ass. He's going to be the next breakout major star.
Bronson Reed can throw his name in the hat for that.
I could believe in Bronson Reed. I believe in Bronson Reed. What can the WWE do to fix its ratings?
Hire better writers.
Stop hiring writers. Hire bookers.
More Randy Orton.
The Randy Orton show. No, get rid of the writers. Hire bookers. Put Raw back on a 2-hour format. And I don't know what's that other thing that they have. Wrestle. You fucking idiot. Sorry.
Honestly.
Sorry.
Get rid of your writers.
Yeah.
You hire your bookers.
Hire one writer. One writer to flesh out some interesting...
But just book the matches, the wins and losses. Let the wrestlers take it from there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying get rid of all of the showmanship or all of the hokiness. Right. Pro wrestling. It can be fun and it can be entertaining and you can have those elements. But Jesus Christ, it's a 3-hour show with 2.5 hours of promo. That's what it is. If you break it down, 2.5 hours of promos and commercials.
Get your storyline across, but let your wrestlers do it.
Yeah, if it's going to be a 3-hour show, I want 2.5 hours straight of just Randy Orton doing whatever it is Randy Orton does.
Yeah, book your matches.
Taking shit.
Book your storylines, but let your wrestlers do it. Quit scripting promos.
Yeah.
Tell them what you want them to do like the old days and just let them
become a pro wrestling product.
That's why the Attitude Era works.
Even if you're going to be sports entertainment, fine, be sports entertainment, but you have to put the entertainment in.
Well, like I said, let the wrestlers do it. In the Attitude Era, they didn't script promos. They were like, this is what we want you to say.
Yeah.
Go out there and do it. And they just went out and did it. That's the way wrestling should be.
I joke, legit. More guys like Randy Orton doing the types of things
more
that he does,
experienced
who he is.
Wrestlers the story's not being so hokey or insulting to your intelligence. And also, the format itself could change. Stop with the camera cuts. Stop with just give me a few different camera angles of the inside of a pro wrestling ring, and that's all I need.
What I would want would be like the early, 94, 95, 96 television. If you're going to do an interview with somebody, have them go to the ring and have a pre-taped interview where it's just down on the bottom of the screen. We don't need to see you hold a microphone.
Early 96 format, early 2004, 2005 writers.
Yes.
2010 editing, the current day marketing, and you'd have the perfect fucking wrestling show. It would literally could not
entrances.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
one thing, fill the time with wrestling and not draw
one thing that I think would help, and I know they'll never do it because of the amount of merchandise money they would lose. Unify the belts, one world champion, one women's world champion, one world set of tag team champions. You can keep the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title to flesh out your undercard guys, because though you can elevate those belts.
As far as your heavyweight
but
title,
one main world champion.
4 titles. That's all you need.
I agree, but here's the thing. You can elevate, instead of having 2 world champions, like if you combined Raw and SmackDown right now, instead of having Roman Reigns as world champ on one show and Drew as world champ on one show, you'd have Roman Reigns as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Then you'd have Drew McIntyre as your WWE United States Heavyweight Champion. You elevate the status of that belt by making it important.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
4 belts. That's all you need.
Yeah, they used
the undisputed title.
They used to, yeah. Used to when they first did the brand freeze for Raw and SmackDown in 2002 and did their draft, World Champion would have a competitor from each show every other month.
Yeah.
And it was a very cool format. And I'm not saying you have to go back to doing that. Fuck it. Unfreeze the rosters, trim some of the fat, and just use all 5 fucking hours of Raw and SmackDown.
See, where my age comes into play with you guys is that was your guys' renaissance, that era. My era was, you only had 4 titles. You had the heavyweight, you had the Intercontinental, and the 2 tag titles.
That's not true. You had the European Championship as well for a very long time.
That started in 98.
No.
The European, look it up, European title took place between Owen Hart and the British Bulldog in an episode of Raw in 97. European title has not been around that long. Because the Bulldog was the first champ, and
When did
Shawn
Michaels
Michaels beat him in 97 for it.
And then Michaels dropped it to Hunter.
Yeah. That's all happened in 97.
It was all 1 year.
Yeah.
But again, you still had another... And
But
at that time, where you still had... I mean, WCW still had the United States title, the world title.
I'm talking about in the WWE where they've conglomerated 80,000 championship belts. In my day, they had the world, the Intercontinental,
Yeah,
and
in
the
the early 90s.
Yeah.
And
occasionally a woman's title every 6 years.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's all you needed.
Yeah,
You
but
had your
that's
tag titles for your workhorses. You had the Intercontinental for your dark horse to build your champion.
Yeah.
And then you had your champion. You only needed
Established February 26, 1997. First champion.
Yeah. See, you didn't need 2 second-tier titles because you don't need them.
Yeah.
You have 2 shows, I get that, 2 different brands, you'd want 2 second-tier titles.
Yes.
But you don't need them.
No, you don't need them. And the other part, too, is, again, unify the fucking belts.
Yeah.
Elevate the status of the titles, and then use all 5 hours to be a continuation of the show, like when SmackDown and Raw first came together.
Yeah.
That's how you make this shit watchable.
Well, also, what would be nice is you do your heavyweight championship, you find championship. You do your Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Because WWE is Intercontinental title. The United States does not take top tier over IC title. Do your tag team.
Yeah.
You have your women's, but I'm not counting the women's title in this conversation. And then you want another second tier title? Take the 24/7 title that you've been...
Oh, get rid of it.
Listen to me. Take the 24/7 title. It doesn't have to be the 24/7 title, but take a title like that, make it legitimate to where both brands can challenge for that at any time. Now, I'm not talking about hokey, I'm going to wrestle you in the back with a referee. I'm talking about this title is kind of like the television title. This title is defended on TV every show.
But you could easily
from either show.
You could easily get rid of that belt and do that with either the United States or the Intercontinental title.
But what I'm saying is you keep your Intercontinental title. Yeah, I mean, it could be the United States title.
The 24/7 title needs to go.
But what I'm saying is take the United States title in that
now
way of doing.
There is something to be said for the entertainment value of the 24/7 title.
It is entertaining.
It's entertaining to watch, and therefore I could see keeping it on the show to continue that aspect of it, where you don't have to take it super serious.
No, but like I said, it could be on TV every week.
Yeah.
That would be your main TV title, and that could be challenged by either show.
And you could alternate, too, between Raw and SmackDown. See, because I'm going to advocate here again for keeping the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because it would give you an opportunity, while elevating one and giving you all of the work rate in the room for the one belt, you can be using the other belt either in the opposite vein or the same vein to create multiple contenders and breed multiple individuals that are going to become number one contenders. That way, you've got different avenues, because obviously with the amount of people that the WWE has, that's why those other titles existed anyway. But if we're taking away a world title, we're taking away the tag title, we're taking away all the extra ones, that other belt is a really good thing to rely on. And the other cool thing is that, again, this would never happen in a million years because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. The other cool thing was it would give you more variety week to week. Because one week, Monday I could tune in and be like, oh, tonight's going to be an Intercontinental title match between fucking Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. And then I'd tune in on SmackDown. It's like, oh, it's going to be a U.S. title match tonight with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. You get the variety if the belts are used the right way.
I think that's where our loss in communication's going. That's cool. Keep the U.S. title. What I'm saying is, but make that title defended every show.
Right. Alternate them between the Intercontinental title and the U.S.
So that way, the titles can be brand fluid.
Yeah.
Intercontinental title this
World
month
title should
can be Raw, challenged by a Raw competitor. SmackDown can challenge next month.
Even then,
and do it with both belts.
If you get rid of the brand extension, you won't even need to do that. You can just have your stories build to the show.
But the brand extension's not going away.
No, it's too much money invested.
So, like I said, like you said, the old title was the Undisputed Championship was Raw Challenge this month, SmackDown Challenge this month.
Yeah.
Do the same thing with those two middle titles.
Yeah.
Like, have a Raw guy, if Raw guy's champion, have him wrestle a Raw guy, SmackDown guy wrestle a SmackDown guy, then switch.
And if they're not going to do it that way, again, at least make the belts important on your program. Right now, the Intercontinental title is getting more play than it ever has in the last, 5 years, which is great. But that's because Fox actually gives a shit about the ratings.
Also, no more double champions.
Yeah. No, it's been done. It's been done.
At one point, like you said, the titles at one point were because there was so many talent.
Yeah.
But yet, I remember a day in time when Triple H and Stone Cold were World, Intercontinental, and Tag Team Champions. You had 4 distinctive titles.
Yeah, the
on
two-man power trip. Yeah.
It killed the complete idea of having more titles to establish more men.
Yeah, because they ended up cycling through.
Yeah, and they did it numerous times.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Stone Cold and Triple H.
Yeah. So that's how you fix it. You make it a wrestling show again, where the matters and the wins and the losses matter, and it's not so hokey and stupid.
Right.
Last question we had. Get into this real quick. Who's the best WWE superstar of all time and why?
John Cena by rate.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, longevity and by rate.
Randy Orton. Enough said.
Here's why.
That's actually a fair argument.
Here's my argument for Stone Cold, and this is a true story. I was at work the other night, and there's a guy that I work with on my line who was wearing a hat, jeans, typical factory worker. The guy that I work with on my line, my regular partner, looks over and goes, "Man, you look like the Rattlesnake. You know who the Rattlesnake is, don't you?" Stone Cold. Immediate reference from somebody I hardly know, automatically topical. You don't get people referencing John Cena like that nowadays. Now, you do if you're a wrestling fan.
Then not John Cena, The Rock.
Topically different, though, because The Rock is a megastar in the movie world, but in the wrestling world alone, Stone Cold was a bigger star.
Well, if you're talking about longevity, though, longevity-wise, Stone Cold, a lot of people don't understand this. Stone Cold wasn't around that long.
No, he wasn't.
John Cena has been around almost double.
It's not about the time he put in, it's about the impression of the time.
No, and I get that, but ask any child who Stone Cold is, they're not going to tell you. Ask anyone who John Cena is, they're going to tell you exactly.
Well, no, I'm going to argue with you on that. You ask any child who John Cena is, they would know yes.
Yes.
That's a small demographic of wrestling fans. Ask any adult you've ever met, regardless if they're a wrestling fan or not, they know who Stone Cold is.
They also know who John Cena is.
Sometimes they don't. Again, you have to be invested in the wrestling environment today, and there aren't nearly as many people invested in the wrestling environment today as there were 15, 20 years ago when Stone Cold was always like that.
I gotta ask,
Same thing with The Rock.
Who's the most popular wrestler? Or
no, who's the best?
Because that's two different.
Well, yeah, it's a completely subjective.
You guys are talking popularity.
That's true. He's right.
We are.
Best wrestler?
Best wrestler in
Shawn
WWE
Michaels.
history?
Hands down, Randy Orton.
Kurt Angle.
It
depends on the style of wrestling. The style of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's also subjective.
Well,
I guess really all around, if you want to include all of those
Just
things, take
Undertaker.
Yeah, take it.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton's the total package. Randy Orton can do everything. So that's a very good argument to make.
Randy Orton is a god among men.
But keep in mind, The Undertaker is the greatest individual WWE soul property that they've ever created.
I'll give you
so I guess,
if
all
we're
around
going WWE Superstar,
best WWE superstar ever, The Undertaker. We can all communicatively agree.
Undertaker.
All right.
Closely by Randy Orton.
Follow it very close.
Very close.
Guys,
Nose up.
that's it for the mailbag. We're running out of time. Stay
Randy, you're
tuned
God, I love
for
you.
our intro perspective look on Road Warrior Animal coming up right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, email, Facebook, all that jazz.